on the side of SKT. Very good lanes for Peanut to gank. He has access to instant cast CC from range in both lanes when the ultimate is available in terms of the depth charge, and of course the Rune Prison from Ryze. So if Peanut can steady his performance and actually be able to stand up to score, because remember, even though KT Rolster lost to the Rocks Tigers in the final of the 2016 summer season, Score was on top of Peanut extensively in that series. Peanut's Hecarim very forgettable in the final game. So Peanut needs to stand up to his former teammates and also history, because this is a tough matchup for him.
I mean, it was Score's now teammate Smeb that saved that game for the Rocks Tigers. So Peanut definitely has an uphill battle, as does Huni. It's the last time these guys clashed. Riven versus Hecarim. They reversed the matchup. Smeb came out on top every single time.
Yeah, when you win the reverse matchup, that lets you know that that man was on point on that day. And Huni has looked good this season, but if you think about it, what was his one kind of down performance against Marin? And Smeb is the only other top laner that inspires the same level of fear in this league. But every matchup is a star matchup. This is the series that everyone wants to see. KT have been bold, blind picking both solo lanes in the first round. Needed to complete a bot lane. Bit of a kill pressure on this one. So only the Ezreal is kind of a position that could have been attacked by KT Rolster, but it's Bang & Wolf, the dependable bot lane, versus the new dream bot lane of Deft and Mata. It's SK Telecom versus KT. It's Telecom Wars. Everything is working for this first game.
That it is. And let's not waste any more time, Papa Smithy. Let's go ahead and jump onto Summoner's Rift for Game 1 of the Telecom War here, Spring 2017. KT Rolster versus SK Telecom. Let's get it started. Here we are. Fans here, 5 p.m. in the afternoon, middle of the week. Closer to the end of the week, I suppose, but still have made their way out to the Seoul East Stadium in Sangam to come and watch these two titans clash.
To count the time. The tickets sold out in seconds, Achilleos. They went instantly as expected. Not everyone has been able to get off work or school, but they'll certainly be filing in as this Game 1 continues. No interesting Keystone masteries, apart from perhaps Fervor on the Ezreal. But pretty standard stuff, all things considered. And a lot of invades early. No Maokai this game, so not as much incentive to go for the invade onto a Raptor camp. Blind picking your mid laner against Faker has always been a risky thing to do, but that famous matchup, you know, the one that everyone thinks about when they're talking about how Horn was Faker's kryptonite, was the regional tiebreaker back in 2014. Samsung White 3-0'd SK Telecom T1K. People kind of forget that Pawn got the counter pick 3 games in a row. This game, we do see Pawn having to blind pick his champion, and of course Faker has triumphed over Pawn multiple times since then. The last time Faker and Pawn met was in group stages of the 2015 World Championships, EDG versus SKT. That was Faker on the winning side both times. Been on the winning side quite a lot in the last 2 years, it turns out.
I mean, it's been quite a while since they've fought each other. Pawn, of course, having his issues last year. So now coming back into Korea. And again, he's had some ups and downs in his performances thus far. Hasn't affected KT too much in their win-loss ratios. You can see both of these guys coming in very even. But will Pawn excel against Faker? Already going in for some early trading. Won't have too much power behind him yet. Needs to get those first couple items coming through on that Jace.
Talking more generally about the team comps, SKT have quite a lot of different options. Very flexible comp from them. As we mentioned already, instant cast CC in the lanes means that both Ryze and Nautilus are a joy for Graves to gank for, given that he brings burst and not much more. The 1-3-1 is very powerful. And KT have gone for this no-tank comp that is kind of all the rage or maligned, depending on who you talk to around the world, because people say, why not just go for the tank? It's more reliable. You can face check and put down wards. And tanks have obviously been the source of much frustration when discussing the 2017 patch. But KT have been in the one team to really reliably play out these comps that are really about sieging, hitting power spikes if this game gets to the point where Rise and Nautilus are 3-4 items in and they're split pushing, KT don't have many options apart from a chance pick and forcing the siege. So it's very much grouping, wanting to divide up the map. It's not like team fighting is a problem for SKT in the late game either. The SKT more flexible, but KT, if they get going, the snowball may be enough to win the game.
Yep. You see Faker right there cheating down into the river, just hovering around where Peanut was. Big shock blast comes through. Faker out of mana, but he's got the ghost. That'll be enough. Sword doesn't want to try to go in for the flash to get the cocoon. Just a bit too risky. So Faker makes it out with his life.
You think about team fights. While KT have some good team fight tools, initiation, you know, outside of Elise and Thresh, which are kind of situational, not the most reliable initiation, isn't there. They don't really have the teleport flank, even though they don't have the Poppy Maokai or Nautilus in the top lane. And then you consider Ezreal, because Ezreal was the big high priority for Bang. Laning matchup, not fantastic against the Caitlyn, but manageable. In the late game, how do they ever lock down the Ezreal? With the Arcane Shift and Flash Up, they have no tools to deal with Ezreal if he gets going in the team fight phase. So team fight phase looks really tricky for KT, but they didn't draft this for the team fight. They want to get a fast start. They want to be pressuring lanes. For now, very even. So SKT, they're more comfortable, but we're only 5 minutes in. Plenty of action still to come.
Yep. But, I mean, for SKT, the longer it takes for action to pop up, the better things will be for them. They have that massive scaling factor with Faker in the mid lane. Already has that tier of the Goddess going up. We'll be working on the Catalyst coming up next. Pawn finds Peanut in the river.
Not often that a Graves will win the 1v1 ward clearing battle, but the threat of Rise and also the smoke screen meant that the Hyperdrive W was cancelled. Couldn't get all the autos in.
Second day in a row, we've seen some good smoke screen use.
Not an ability to talk about much, but I remember when it was released, right, it was talking about, okay, we want to have pure utility spells that don't do any damage, and Smoke Screen is definitely one of those where the damage is so just completely unnecessary, and in general, never really, you kind of have that mana versus damage trade-off where you're like, well, I'm only using this for the utility. But the utility of that spell, it's like the Nocturne Ultimate, it's so massive, and when it's on point, it really works strongly as Score continues to return around mid.
Feels so good when you kill somebody with a smoke screen, though.
Smoked to death.
They're vaping too hard.
No memes there at all.
Score just hasn't found that way in. Wants to try to shut down Faker. But just going to be clearing through the jungle so far. He's keeping up with Peanut relatively well.
We're going to talk about Windows, Achilles, because we're back to Season 4 analysis, because guess what? A lot of tier is going to be on the side of SK Telecom T1. Lets you know that the power spike is going to be pretty much delayed to 25 minutes. Mada's doing his best key impression, trying to freeze the wave. So far successful.
A lot of harass from Wolf, though. Throws out that dark
Caitlyn's here with a BF sword.
That's going to be the hook. They throw down the trap, but Wolf will walk around. Won't get caught up by that one. See if Wolf can still make it out of here. Life play back in from Mada. Trying to get him. They just forced the flash to get both of the summoner spells out from Wolf. And he makes it out alive, but barely so.
That was really, really close stuff. It looked like Mada was being disrespectful, but because Caitlyn was going to be in range of the Dark Passage, it almost ended up being a kill. The exhaust was the big winner there. Caused Caitlyn to miss about 3 or 4 auto attacks. Would have cemented her doom. The Karma. Really interesting story of these bot lanes, because honestly, KT's represents those who left. We're talking mostly about the 2014 big Korean exodus, because Deft and Mada, of course, both popped over to China on different squads. Deft on EDG, Mada on first Vici, then RNG. Whereas Bang and Wolf, when they left, you know, end of 2014, dependable bot lane on SKT T1S, but no more than that. They'd never played on the same lineup as Faker. They looked reliable without being stars. Both of their careers took a huge upward ascent when they joined Faker, as does most people's careers, but even their laning obviously went up leaps and bounds, their reputation around the world. People were talking about Deft and its 50% kill participation or damage share in Worlds 2014, and people weren't really talking about Bang & Wolf at all. But now, it feels like Bang & Wolf have the reputation. Reputations only count for so much as, here we go.
Yeah, Mada flashing in the hook, gonna go wide as Peanut dashes to the side.
Mada's low.
Keep himself alive. Mada does go low. True Shot Barrage comes through from Bang. Not going to connect onto anybody, but now Pawn going to be the target. Wolf coming up. Gonna be looking for that Mantra Q to try to slow up multiple members. Could get a really big hit onto Mata and Pawn. Realm Warping coming through. He'll get placed right in range to get on top of Pawn. Flashes away to try to keep himself alive. Mata still trying to sprint his way out. Big equalizer thrown down by Smeb, but everybody's gonna get it. And that's gonna be first blood going over to Pawn. Comes up with a kill onto Faker, and they fire back with another one, taking out Wolf. That looked so bad for KT Rolster, but the team play turns it around.
Yeah, Smeb sped it. He had the teleport advantage because Huni had teleported back to get into lane. You could not ask for a more picture-perfect equalizer. Somewhere Marin is watching this map. This game with a tear in his eye. It was so beautiful because it looked so bad for KT. They get chunked out and then everyone's chasing. And if Karma had flashed and hadn't had to flash before, she would have flashed over this wall, got a 2-3-man Karma Q, slowed people, and there would have been immediate kills. But Smeb disengages, goes for the teleport, still blinking health bars on KT. And even though they enter this fight at such a health disadvantage, beautiful equalizer, beautiful turn, and exactly what KT needed because they have the comp that has to get it done early.
Just completely cutting off Peanut from getting back into that fight. Wonderful equalizer, got a smattering of damage in, but then just zoning SKT quite well, and just 2 kills on the board for KT all of a sudden, where it looked like they could have lost 2 or 3 members.
I mean, just look at the immediate power. Berserker Greaves, BF Sword compared to Pickaxe Tier. Riot's not even a Catalyst yet compared to the Dirk on top of the long swords. You see the extra items that are there because of the team fight going the way of KT. Because if it was just 2 long swords or 4 long swords in a tier, it's not the same as the Dirk and the other things that were completed. You need immediate power to hit your rotational advantages for the KT comp. So critical. Really nice stuff from Smeb, who, you know, we talked about it in the pregame. He's the one guy who, because of the meta largely, but also his own performance and fitting in with his new teammates, has been down on expected performance. Sure, you could say Smeb's played better than Pawn. You could argue that, but the expectations for Smeb are right up there, as in the top 3 player in the league, regardless of position. You know, Pawn, people didn't know where he was at. He's been good without being outstanding. Smeb's been a bit down, but this game, 10 minutes 45, already completed Leandries. He certainly had a good start.
And that is just going to make things very brutal for Huni trying to match him up in that top lane. Does have that Spectre's Cowl and the Merc Treads coming through, but with that percentage HP burn, it's just going to be hurting him quite a bit in those exchanges. So Huni's going to have to play this lane very cautiously. So far has kept up in CS. You mentioned, you know, getting that early MR helps out that Nautilus quite a lot. He's got very reliable wave clear with the Riptide. So he's been keeping up, but not having TP at that crucial moment is what really cost SK Telecom.
So when you have a comp like KT, sure, you can look at the items, you can look at the gold, say, okay, KT's got a gold lead, they're winning, but what you really look for when you have a comp like this without a tank is what is the status of the warding battle? Where is the vision battle being won? And you can see that in a comp that really wants to cut between lanes, go for aggressive dives, move to take turrets first, you need a vision advantage. There's a lot of control wards sticking on the side of SKT defensively. That means KT can't make those aggressive rotations, can't try to get first turret blood or first brick, depending on how you want to call it. So KT need to start grouping with vision. We need to see the Mata score invades trying to get vision supremacy. Because if vision is even or in the advantage of SKT, that's really big to counter the comp that KT are running. For now, vision priority around the Dragon, going to be a little bit relaxed. SK Telecom have pushed in, gotten a couple wards around the red buff of KT Rolster, which will be spawning in just under a minute. But Cloud Drake means that we could see that sitting there for a considerable amount of time. But KT, if they could get a pick down in this bottom side, it would be a very obvious objective to follow up with. You can see Score walking into the brush, will throw down the sweeper and clear this out, but he's been spotted. So Bang, going to be very safe to just go ahead, peel back underneath this turret. Given the disadvantages in the late game, I think KT actually needs to put a higher premium on Cloud Drake than most teams will. They have the Rumble, who's ahead, who has a quick Leandries, so fighting around the Cloud Drake and Dragon in general has always been the playground of a Rumble. And they also just want to have backup win conditions. They're probably not going to win straight up 5v5s unless they have a massive gold advantage. The 1-3-1 should be won by SKT as well. The stacking Drakes gives you another place to fight around, another win condition. So you can't really afford to sleep on it and just continue to farm out because that plays into the hand of SKT's comp. Mata just chucking out a hook there, trying to get one off the Wolf, won't come up with much. Shot barrage thrown down by Bang. You can tell kind of wants to go for the push.
get a recall in. Hasn't bought in a little while. Leave that mana mute. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Faker goes quite low.
He's chunked out, so Drake could certainly be something to turn on, or the vision that we've already mentioned is probably the biggest thing for KT to work on. Clearing one control ward, taking away a blue buff, important for KT roster as it forces Bang and Wolf to back off.
Yep. Pawn able to snatch that up for himself so he can be that much more pressive against Faker in this mid lane. Wolf walking around looking for a ward. Cocoon connects from score. Doesn't want to go in for a kill, however, unsure of where Peanut's at. Actually just now spotting him coming past the blue and wolf camps. So just going to be playing it safe for now.
Getting chunked out a couple times. Picked up the honey fruit, but not enough.
Yeah, tries to throw out a little bit of damage onto Bang, but right now, just with that BF sword, Ace in the hole, not going to be doing a ton of damage. Could zone him out of the lane, that'd be crucial for KT, so they get a lot of damage in onto this tier 1 turret. But for now, it's just going to be trying to poke out where they can. Shock Blast comes over the wall, connects on the Wolf. Pretty big damage coming out for just the Yomus. On the side of Pawn, they get a couple hits in on that turret, but still, First Brick going to be evading them for a bit longer.
See the upside of going for this mid-Jace, you can actually poke your head around multiple lanes, and just like when Ziggs used to throw a Mega Inferno Bomb off cooldown into side lanes to get an advantage, Acceleration Burst, Shock Blast certainly does that as well. Just trying to get the HP advantage and start chipping down turrets. Still no turret taken, getting them lower and lower. Rumble predictably winning the trades pretty handedly against the Nautilus early, but items will certainly start to close that lead in terms of damage trades.
I see just how aggressive Smeb is going to go with this build. We've seen, especially from Marin with the Rumble, just, you know, full glass cannon, glass flame spitter. Let's see if he wants to opt into a bit more defensive stats. Mata flashing in, trying to get the flay onto Faker, but he's got the ghost and he makes it out alive.
And the reputation of Mata's Thresh is certainly there, although missed some skill shots last time we saw it. Did win the game, but not quite razor sharp on those flash flays as he was back in 2014.
Faker sprints straight down through the jungle, arriving in this bottom lane. Bang trying to get some damage in onto the turret, but Deft and Mata are both here to catch the wave, so won't be coming up with much. Faker's just going to recall. And it's just going to be some vision control coming through from both sides where they can, but ooh.
That's Jace. Hooray for lethality.
Yep.
We are still on patch 7.3. It's our first week of 7.3 in Korea.
And I mean, he did have some changes, but it didn't change lethality items. Yeah, so that's where he really needs to be hit.
Yeah, the Yoma's nerf comes through in 7.4. Not the 5 lethality. It's going to really be a big consideration. Jace will still be strong. Does feel like he's exclusively a mid lane pick. Although usually with a tank like Maokai in the top, not the Rumble. And KT the only team ballsy enough to go for is no frontline comps. But so far, not really growing the lead you'd expect with them. Now, they do explosive damage. If you pick the right fight, if you get some picks, it doesn't matter. You can still win. Speaking of picks.
Well, play comes down, Box not going to connect on the Bang. He's still finding a kite back. Wolf, however, gets snatched up, dragged in, scores on the way. Could just be another kill coming through. Mata just fearlessly taking up in the front line, but it costs him his life. They are able to answer one onto Wolf as he goes low, but that is just going to be a turnaround onto Score. Collateral damage from Peanut takes out the Spider.
And that was the 1000th kill for Bang as well. The crowd just realizes the big cheer comes through. So 1000 kills onto Mata feels good.
Nicely done by Bang. We're talking about that, you know, last time we saw SKT
stranded on 999 after their big turret dive went awry. Fountain dive, I should say.
Yep, and what a time to go ahead and earn that for himself. So gets it in the first 17 minutes of Game 1 at the Telecom War. So congratulations to Bang, but
Mata once again, you know, goes for the all-in engage. The box doesn't register crucially with Bang, and then they're just free DPSing down Wolf. They're wasting time trying to kill the Karma. Bang getting free hits. Mata dies instantly, even though it is this 3v2. And this time, Peanut's there. Your pathing needs to be so on point on this Graves to relieve pressure. The aggressive mindset of Mata has cost them a couple of times, not with kills previously. Now with a favorable trade to the scaling comp, and not going all wrong for KT. They do have a gold lead. Things going pretty comfortably for SK Telecom.
Yep. See the push down towards the bottom lane from Peanut Faker. Won't be coming in with a Realm Warp yet, but Pawn, you're very far forward. No vision to that lower side of the river.
Level 11 on Faker too, so the Realm Warp would have been enough to actually close most of the distance, but very slippery is that Jace.
SK Telecom, they start up the Cloud Drake. KT are aware of this, but do they want to try to contest? Looks like the answer is going to be no.
Their vision has been so stifled, Achilles. They really don't have the map lit up in the way you'd expect with a Jace, with a Rumble, with no front line. Very, very shallow vision for them means that SKT take a free Drake against the run of play, at least in recent minutes. Blue buff transfer going to be completed. It seems like we're not going to be far away from Faker being rotated to a side lane, Ezreal clearing in mid, and pretty much comfort times for SKT.
Yep. KT just let that Infernal go, or that Cloud Drake go, but Infernal will be the second one coming through. So definitely going to be an objective to fight over. Speaking of which, first turret still has not come through for either side, but KT have been steadily chipping away at this bottom tier 1 turret.
We've seen the game plan around low health turrets like this time and time again. The Maokai, you put a ward down behind the outer turret, Maokai teleports in, 4-man, gets some kills, take the turret. With a Rumble, that playstyle is a little bit different. And also, control wards have been sticking around the bot lane turret. So KT haven't been able to make their trademark plays to get the first brick, to get the gold lead that you need with a comp like this. And with Rift Herald leaving the Rift, you know that it's almost 20 minutes and still no turrets down for KT Rolster. You know, standing gold's certainly there. Turrets that are low, no turrets down is a pretty big issue for them.
See Bang with that True Shot Barrage still doing quite a bit of damage to death, despite only having that Manamune really coming through. Sheen is there.
Did you notice?
Ninja Tabby.
Yeah.
Yep.
So going for just trying to chill with those laning trades. Ninja Tabi Graves, the last time I remember seeing AD carries getting Ninja Tabi in the early game.
Okay, mitigate that headshot damage.
Do understand the theory behind it, and Ezreal, you know, was always able to get situational boots. Zerka Graves not as highly prized for an Ezreal, so swiftness when they were strong. Lucidity obviously was a very common pickup for them, and if you can actually start winning laning trades against a Caitlyn,
he is.
You defer to both these AD carries on a champion like Ezreal, and Bang's got something new, and it's definitely working in the laning phase.
Yeah. See, even in CS, up against Caitlyn, already a very good look. Now going to get a nice push in onto the turret, but Pawn rotates up top, and that will be the first brick coming through for KT Rolster. So SKT just not able to chip down the turrets enough to win that race.
It was a very clean play as well. They actually had double control ward on the route out for the Jace, so no chance of being collapsed. Answering turret comes for SKT in the bot lane. Again, you'd expect Caitlyn to be doing significantly better in the bot lane than she is. So much credit to Bang in that regard. Realm Warp threatened, but not taken by Faker.
Couldn't tell exactly where he had tossed it out. Looked like he might have been threatening in case the Rift Herald was being taken.
Was already down, I believe, at that time.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Already 20 minutes into this game.
And this game has definitely crept up on us. It's been slow-paced at the start, lulling us into what is certainly...
He's checking the Baron then.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Checking the Baron. False sense of security for sure. Baron would have been optimistic with Baron damage, but at least he's having to go tank just to they have some sort of frontliner. No sign of the Leandri's Elise, which has been a very common second item. KT do get second turret of the game. But finding a way to take the mid lane turret, even with Ezreal having pretty situational wave clear, is going to be difficult. And now the 1-3-1 starts, that Rise is really set up to win.
Yeah, well, here we go, Faker. Moving up towards that top side of the map. See if he gives Smeb a run for his money.
This vision was sweet, seeing Seesaw so quickly. Skull getting DP oust in mid. Peanut walked up into the blue side jungle, put down 2 wards to allow Rise to split push. Even trying to contest the Raptors here is Peanut.
He's going to push in, has the smite available, so just takes away the big Raptor. Nice snatch up for him. Now KT going to be trying to hold on to this tier 1 in mid. Hook goes out. Bang not going to fall for it. The turret just getting shredded down. Sheen from this Ezreal working out quite well. Ace in the hole plus Shock Blast equals Ezreal below half HP, but he's still feeling a little bit feisty, a little safe with that Arcane Shift and his Flash available, so he's going to stick around and keep throwing out some of these Mystic shots and try to get back into a position where he can hit that turret again.
Just the fact that SKT is dictating this game so strongly with the scaling comp lets you know that Not going to IEM, spending the extra time scrimming and practicing and scouting teams has certainly been put to good use, just as you'd expect from Coma, Rapid Star, and the other Chargers. KT, they've been playing the sort of game they've played many times, but the opposition is stiffer, and this actually goes against expectations, at least mine, in many ways, because previously, SKT's performances against lower place teams, immaculate. Absolutely dominating games. Last pick Katarina, regardless of comp, and doing super well. But against top teams, the Afrika game, other games, they've looked a bit shaky. KT have put top teams to the sword, but struggled against some of the lower place teams.
Oh, Faker really far forward. That shock blast comes through, gets a lot of damage, and he throws in the Rune Prison, but here comes Score. Cocoon connects. That's going to be Faker going down. Nice wraparound by Score to come up with the kill just in time, too. So Dragon's still not up for 30 seconds, but now can they get back in time? Hold on to this tier 1 turret. Looks like the answer is yes. Smeb just tossing out that equalizer to clear out the wave. Still gets a lot of damage in onto Wolf. And they'll have to back off, and this gives Pawn some alone time with the turret in top.
Good communication there coming through as Score's going to give Tony a bit of a love tap.
Oh yeah, he almost got through that shield. Smeb takes the Dark Passage out. He'll be safe, but now they want Score. Smeb does not have that equalizer to try to dissuade them from coming into this choke point, but Score can just take a ride. The rappel over into that Baron pit, gets himself out safely, doesn't have to use the flash. So very well played by him. Not overreacting, knowing his limits.
The turnaround from Huni actually puts KT out of position for Drake, even though they got a kill, and it also pulled Jace down from top lane, so they didn't get an inner turret either. So the kill is not turned into an objective apart from DPSing down an inner turret. Infernal Dragon would certainly be a big objective for SKT to pick up. KT is so far out of position, they're considering a contest.
Well, there's no way that they can get in there, and it's like the idea of going for a fight is also just not strong enough, so they go ahead. They let that Dragon go over. They will trade a mid-tier 1 turret for it. Can they get more is going to be the question.
SKT out of position for this.
Bang takes a big chunk of damage. Hook comes through. Vada goes in, drops the box, but he's just getting annihilated. Last turret shot doesn't connect, so he makes it out with his life, but barely so. But Huni comes in the backside with the TP, jumps in onto Depth. Hook not going to connect. Now Huni getting chunked out, still not tanking enough.
Equalizer up.
Will be blocked by Peanut, but does he pay with that one? With his life, looks like the answer is going to be yes. Smeb drops the equalizer, goes in with the Zonias, comes out, should make it out alive. Pawn taking up a couple of these turret shots, will be able to exit around back into the jungle, and Deft can finish off the tier 2 turret. A trade on the junglers, but KT Rolster do come out with another turret.
So close to being more Achilleos. The overheated Flame Spitter one tick away from taking down Huni as well, but they get the bonus objective. Really nice rotation.